Amazon is full of travel gadgets you'll never actually use. I'm Johannes from GearUpYourLife, and today I'll show you 17 travel must-haves that are actually worth buying in 2025. These are the real Amazon gems travelers rely on. And make sure you stick around because the 4 bonus picks at the end are the ones you'll wish you'd found sooner. Our first real Amazon essential is the AirFly Bluetooth adapter. And it fixes one of the most annoying parts of flying. Airplanes still only let you plug in those cheap wired headphones. With this tiny adapter, you just plug it into the seat jack and suddenly your own wireless earbuds or noise cancelling headphones connect like magic. I actually stumbled across it while scrolling Amazon late at night, and it turned out to be one of those rare gadgets that isn't hype. It just works. It's small, USB-C rechargeable, and I've even used it in hotel gyms and rental cars. Honestly, after trying it once, I can't imagine going back to flights without it. Our second Amazon essential is the Anker 3-in-1 charging cable, and it's one of those everyday things you don't think about until it fails. Can't even count how many cheap cables I've grabbed over the years that frayed or stopped working after just a few months. This one actually holds up. The connectors feel solid, the braiding doesn't peel, and it charges everything from my phone to my earbuds without me carrying 3 different cords. It's the kind of Amazon buy that feels boring at first, but ends up saving you so much frustration on the road. Our third gadget is actually 3-in-1, and if you've been following this channel for a while, you already know how much I care about comfort, especially sleep comfort. And honestly, Amazon might have the best mix of products in this category. First up is the TRTL travel pillow. I've tested all kinds of bulky neck pillows over the years, and most of them just took up space without actually supporting my head. The TRTL looks a little weird, but it's lightweight, wraps around your neck like a scarf, and actually keeps your head upright so you can sleep without waking up sore. Then there are loop earplugs. I used to just grab those cheap foam ones at airports, but they either fell out or didn't block enough noise. The loops seal way better. They're reusable and they're comfortable enough that I can actually wear them for a whole flight without my ears aching. And finally, the MZOO sleep mask. And honestly, I still don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. If you do, let me know in the comments. But pronunciation aside, it's the best sleep mask I've found. Memory foam padding, total blackout, and it doesn't press on your eyes like those flimsy free masks airlines hand out. This little trio has completely changed long flights for me. It's not the kind of gear that looks exciting in an unboxing, but it's the gear that makes the difference between landing rested or landing like a zombie. Our next gadget, or more like essential piece of clothing, are merino wool shirts. As you probably already know, these things don't come cheap. Most of the premium brands like Unbound Merino aren't even on Amazon, which makes them harder to get if you just want to try merino for the first time. But one brand that is available on Amazon and that I've personally tested is merino.tech. Here's why merino is such a game changer for travel. It's naturally odor resistant, so you can wear the same shirt multiple days in a row without smelling like a backpacker hostel. It regulates temperature really well, meaning it keeps you cool in hot climates and warm when it gets chilly. And because it dries super fast, you can hand wash it in a hotel sink and have it ready to go the next morning. Yes, they are more expensive than a basic cotton tee, but I'd rather pack 2 merino shirts than 5 regular ones. On long trips, it saves space, it saves laundry, and it honestly feels like cheating the packing system. Our next gadget is a true community favorite. And when I looked back through my past videos while writing this script, I realized it's actually the single most recommended product on this channel, the Osprey Daypack. It's lightweight, folds down into its own pocket, and yet it's strong enough to carry a full day's worth of stuff, from groceries to camera gear to a water bottle and jacket on a hike. I've used mine everywhere, wandering cities, running errands, or heading out on trails, and it's one of those pieces of gear I never worry about breaking. What makes it stand out is that it doesn't feel like those cheap packable backpacks you buy on Amazon, use twice, and then regret. Osprey builds this little pack with the same materials and attention to detail they use in their full-size hiking packs. That's why it's been recommended so many times in this community, because it just works, and it keeps working trip after trip. Our gadget number 6 is a Kindle, and it's obviously even an Amazon product by themselves. Now, I'll be honest, I've always been more of a book person. There's just something about holding real paper that feels better. But when you're traveling, especially on longer trips, carrying 3 or 4 books just doesn't make sense. The weight adds up fast, and you run out of space. The Kindle solves that problem in the most practical way possible. You can load it with dozens of books. The battery lasts for weeks, and the e-ink screen is easy on the eyes even outside in the sun. For me, it's not about replacing real books forever. It's about finally being able to read what I want on the road without sacrificing half my backpack. And that's where the Kindle really shines. It gives you the freedom to keep reading while still traveling light. Our next gadget is packing cubes. And if you've ever tried them, you know they're one of those game changers that make packing feel organized instead of chaotic. On Amazon, you'll actually find two really good versions that I can recommend. My personal favorite are the Eagle Creek cubes. They're durable, lightweight, and they compress your clothes down so you can fit way more into a carry-on. I've used mine for years and they've never ripped or lost their zippers. But if you want something more premium, the Peak Design cubes are also available on Amazon. They're built with heavier materials, have a super clever opening system, and honestly feel more like pro gear for travelers who pack a lot. Both work incredibly well. It just depends if you want the reliable everyday option or if you're ready to invest in a premium version. Either way, they turn a messy suitcase into something that actually makes sense. Our next gadget is a toiletry bag. And here Amazon actually has what I'd call the best option out there, the Sea to Summit hanging toiletry bag. Most toiletry bags are either too bulky or they just turn into a black hole where everything disappears. But this one is compact, lightweight, and it unfolds to hang right on a hook or a bathroom door. Suddenly, all your bottles, razors, and toothpaste are in one place. Easy to see and easy to reach. I've been using the same Sea to Summit bag for years and it's held up trip after trip without a single issue. No broken zippers, no leaks, no mess. It's not the flashiest piece of gear you'll ever pack, but it's one of those Amazon finds that makes every single day on the road less stressful. Our next gadget is a microfiber travel towel, and honestly, I always stick with a simple $10 option from For Monster on Amazon. It's one of those items that doesn't look impressive at all when you unpack it, but the first time I brought it on a beach trip, I realized how much sense it makes. It packs down smaller than a t-shirt, dries in no time, and doesn't end up smelling gross after just one use like a regular cotton towel would. I've thrown it in sandy backpacks, used it for quick swims, and even as a backup shower towel in hotels, and it's still holding up trip after trip. It's not the kind of gear you brag about, but it's exactly the type of reliable Amazon essential that just earns its spot in your bag. Our next gadget is a packable rain jacket. And if you've traveled for any length of time, you already know how much of a lifesaver it can be. My personal favorite is the one from Outdoor Research. It's lightweight, folds down into its own pocket, and still keeps you completely dry when the weather turns. I've thrown it on during unexpected downpours in cities and during windy hikes, and it's one of those pieces of gear that instantly earns its space in your bag. The nice thing about a packable jacket is that you forget you even have it until you really need it, and then you're just thankful it's there. The only downside? The Outdoor Research version is often sold out on Amazon. So I've also linked another really solid alternative below, in case you can't get your hands on that one. Our gadget number 11 is an RFID travel wallet, and Amazon actually has some really solid options here. My personal favorite is the one from Bellroy. It's sleek, minimal, and the leather quality feels great in the hand. But to be fair, I've heard from quite a few of you that the leather isn't for everyone. Some don't like the texture or just don't want to spend that much on a wallet. That's why my second recommendation is the Eagle Creek RFID wallet. It's usually under $50 on Amazon, built tough and way more practical if you want something lightweight and functional. Both of these do the same essential job, keeping your cards organized and protected while you're on the road. It just depends if you want the premium feel of Bellroy or the reliable, affordable performance of Eagle Creek. Our gadget number 12 is noise cancelling headphones. And honestly, if there's one piece of tech that can completely change the way you travel, it's this. Planes, buses, even noisy hotel hallways, travel is never quiet. The first time you put on proper noise cancelling, it feels like the world finally shuts up for a moment. On Amazon, you'll find all the best options. The Sony WH-1000XM5 and Bose QC45 are the gold standard if you want premium. But if you don't want to spend that much, the Anker Soundcore Q30 gets you surprisingly far for under $100. And when I'm sleeping or don't want to wear big headphones, I always switch to loop earplugs. The Experience Pro when I still need to hear voices, or the Quiet when I just want complete silence. It's one of those upgrades that doesn't just make the trip nicer, it actually makes you feel human when you land. Our next gadget is a power bank, and here Amazon has one of the best finds you can make. For me, Anker is my go-to brand for every kind of power bank. They just last, they charge fast, and they don't fall apart after a few trips like so many of the cheap no-name ones do. For this video, I'm going with my personal favorite, the Anker Nano Power Bank. It's tiny enough to fit in your pocket, has a built-in cable so you're never searching for one, and still charges my phone up to full on a long travel day. I've tried plenty of budget power banks in the past. Some even looked great at first, but after a few months they either stopped holding charge or wouldn't even pass airport security because the specs weren't clear. That's why I always come back to Anker. It's the one brand I actually trust to bring on every single trip. Our next gadget is a universal travel adapter, and this one comes with a little shout out. Teresa Forino, I really hope I'm saying that right, left a comment recommending the Anker universal travel adapter. I had seen this category covered on channels like Pack Hacker and Away Together, but it was actually that comment that finally made me give the Anker a proper try. And honestly, I'm glad I did. It's built solid, works in almost every region, and has multiple USB and USB-C ports, so you can charge all your gear at once. I've used plenty of random adapters before that overheated or just stopped working after a few trips, but this one has been rock solid. So big thanks again to Teresa. This was a community pick that turned into one of my own everyday essentials. Our next gadget is a luggage tracker. Whether you go with an Apple AirTag or a Tile, these little devices are worth every cent. I've talked about this before in my newsletter, but a few years ago I actually lost my Daypack in Amsterdam. And that sinking feeling of not knowing where your bag is, that's exactly the moment when you wish you had a tracker inside. With an AirTag, the Apple Find My network makes it incredibly easy to track your stuff almost anywhere in the world. And if you're not in the Apple ecosystem, Tile is still a really solid option with its own community network. I've used them in checked luggage, in my backpack, even clipped to my keys, and the peace of mind is huge. Losing a bag is stressful enough, but at least now you don't have to lose track of it. Our next gadget is the Nanobag, one of the tiniest but most useful things you can pick up on Amazon. It folds down smaller than a pack of gum, but it carries everything from groceries to beach gear without ever feeling flimsy. I keep one in my day pack at all times, and it saved me so many times when I ended up carrying more than I planned. The crazy thing is, by the time I'm recording this voiceover, they're already almost sold out on Amazon, so if you see them in stock, grab one while you can. And make sure you don't click away yet. After the very last gadget, I've got 4 bonus picks that are small, but seriously worth it. Last but not least, our 17th gadget is probably a bit of a surprise, a travel iron. I know it sounds old school, but honestly, it's one of those little upgrades that can save you when you've been living out of a suitcase for weeks. Wrinkled shirts before a meeting or just wanting to look a little less like you rolled out of a backpack, a travel iron can fix that in minutes. Amazon has plenty of compact versions that don't take up much space, and while it's not something I use every single day, the times I've needed it, I've been really glad I had it. So that wraps up the 17 main Amazon travel must-haves. But don't go anywhere yet, because I've still got 4 bonus gadgets that are small, fun, and surprisingly useful. But before we jump into the bonus gadgets, I want to invite you to something that's just as useful as anything on this list, my free community newsletter. When you sign up, you'll instantly get the Gear Vault bundle, a database of 75 plus tested travel gadgets, 8 complete packing guides, and 25 tip cards that make every trip smoother. It's the perfect companion if you're already browsing Amazon for new gear. So with that said, let's dive into the 4 bonus gadgets I picked for you. Our first bonus gadget is a packable clothesline, and it's one of those small items you don't even think about until you're stuck with damp laundry. On Amazon you'll find tons of options under $10, but the best one in my opinion is the C2 Summit packable clothesline. It packs down tiny, clips up in seconds, and gives you an instant drying setup in any hotel or Airbnb. Cheap, simple, and one of those Amazon essentials that quietly saves your trip. Bonus gadget number 2 is a travel French press. And Amazon has plenty of versions, but my go-to is the Bodum travel press. Instead of relying on bad hotel coffee, you just pack your own grounds, add hot water, and a few minutes later you've got a proper cup anywhere in the world. Compact, affordable, and one of those Amazon finds that turns mornings on the road into something you actually look forward to. Bonus gadget number 3 is an origami bowl. Basically a fold flat container that pops open whenever you need it. The one I use is actually a no-name $10 find from Amazon, but honestly it's become one of my absolute favorites. I've used it for snacks on trains, noodles in hostels, even fruit on the beach. It's quirky, cheap, and far more useful than you'd ever expect. And the last bonus gadget is a set of foldable travel hangers. They are another Amazon classic. Super cheap, fold flat in your bag, and suddenly make drying or organizing clothes way easier in hotels or Airbnbs. Not flashy, but a perfect example of the everyday Amazon gear that quietly makes travel smoother. So if you want even more absolute travel essentials, just click right here for the next video. And before I go, huge thanks for 4,000 subscribers. I really appreciate every single one of you. See you in the next one.